Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to the Match Reaction Show. It's been a while since we've done one, standard. It's been a week, but it finishes Manchester City 3, Tottenham Hotspur nil. And I mean, it's cold here in Toronto. If you live in Toronto, if you're living anywhere in the Greater Toronto area, it's really cold today. It's a biting, freezing cold outside. But you know what? You can probably stand next to Ilkay Gundogan, and you won't be feeling that cold. I mean, he's in blue hot form. I wouldn't even say red hot form. It's a blue hot form right now. Two goals today. Had a hand in the penalty as well. Just incredible performance. But it finishes 3-0. I mean, City just once again dominant, absolutely brilliant performance. And I mean, there's so many things there. You got to look back, I think, to this fixture about 4 or 5 months ago. And I keep pointing out that Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester City at the new White Hart Lane at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, whatever it's called now. And that was the game where they lost 2-0. And you thought, is this the end of Pep Guardiola's empire at City? Is this this came on the heels of Pep actually getting a new contract. So we were like, is this the right time to give him a contract? Will he even manage to see out the season? And I mean, something's clicked, something's changed from that moment. Something has clicked in his mind that things need to change. And from that point on, I mean, it's just incredible the way they played and the matches that they won. 11 straight Premier League wins, 16 straight wins in all competitions. And most importantly, I think this is something that even I didn't know and that I found out. They have not trailed any time in any of the games they played since that Spurs game. Spurs were the last team to have Manchester City behind, in a game. No other team has been able to get them behind and make them trail in a game. They've always either been level or they've been ahead, but they've never trailed. I mean, that's just an incredible statistic to go from there. It's just mind blowing when you think about it and all the things that come with it. But I mean, talking about the game in general, I think one key point that I noticed very clearly was right at the start. It looked like City were playing with a 4-1-5. I mean, it's nominally a 4-3-3, but what they were actually playing was a 4-1-5, or sometimes it would be a 3-2-5 if Cancelo went into midfield. Basically, the back four and Rodri were like one quadrant or one half, you could say. And then the other five, the two midfielders, for Silva, Gundogan, Foden, Sterling, Jesus, those five were basically like one unit. So every time Spurs had the ball, they were basically transferring it quickly to the five, and the five were all going forward together. So at times it looked like it was like there was a 2-on-1 at Tanganga, it was a 3-on-1 when Zinchenko also joined in up front. It became a 3-on-1. So there was a lot of overloads. And I think what I realized was probably the idea was there's usually a back four like that, right? And so usually you have three that slot in here, right? So that usually, if you understand it, that's how it works generally with the front three. What City have done is they've said, and that's easy to, if you can park the bus, right? That's pretty easy because then you've got three here, and then you've got two in front, and you can kind of block it up. What City have said is, if you want to park the bus, that's fine. We're gonna have five, so we're gonna now overload your defense by having a five like that, right? So there's five here, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there was an overload every time, and that's why the defenders were confused. They were like, who are we supposed to pick? What are we supposed to do? Because they're always getting up on us. And Tanganga had no idea whether he should, who he should be marking. Obviously, there's a lot of interchanging that goes on because Silva's comfortable playing in midfield. Gundogan is comfortable playing in midfield. Foden is comfortable playing in midfield. Yeah, so say, and Jesus can go out wide. Sterling can go, can go in the center, and he can also play right, left. There's all sorts of interchanging happening. So that just confuses everybody. It's like, what are we supposed to do? Who are we supposed to pick? So I don't know what the best way to counter it. Probably a back five with the man marking role might work. I don't know. But I mean, in this game, it was just there was just no answers for what was going to happen. In terms of who should we pick, what should we do? And I think City just overran Spurs. The downside for City though was that throughout that game, Spurs did have chances to counter because of the fact that the two midfielders and three attackers were always so far up front. There was a gap between Rodri and whoever the two midfielders were at any given point in time. There was a gap, and Spurs at times looked like they could exploit that gap. But then again, the City defense right now is at a different level. They're so good. Nothing much came of those counterattacks. The best chance Spurs had were two. The first one was the Harry Kane free kick. Unfortunate that it took the post, but it's one of those things where if it had gone in, would the game have been different? Maybe, maybe not. If once it didn't go in, you kind of knew it was not going to be Spurs day. So I think that was sad. And then Bale chance right at the end, where I think he probably turned back the years a little bit. Shouldn't have. I still got something in there. I can't bring it out on a consistent basis. I can't do it every week. but once in a while that's there, and showed that little bit. But I mean, otherwise City were just too good. I thought the penalty was a bit sad and a bit not necessarily harsh in terms of the decision. I think it was the correct decision to give a penalty. I think it was harsh because Spurs to that point had played really well in terms of doing whatever they could do to nullify City, while at the same time having enough in attack to hurt City. I think that's interesting as well is the fact that they actually played a 4-4-1-1 today, which was almost a 4-4-2 today, which is just quite attacking for a Mourinho team to play that kind of formation. So you had Lucas Moura behind Kane, like doing whatever he could do, and then Lamela playing on the wings. Sometimes Moura would go on the wings, Lamela would come central. So they had that sort of interchange in the first half at least, and so they were creating some opportunities, but then that penalty just happened. Hojbjerg, again another clumsy error from him. He's had quite a few over the last few weeks. Maybe it's now his level is starting to show. Maybe, but he gave away that penalty. It was harsh on Spurs, not in terms of the decision, but I think in terms of the fact that they probably had done enough to warrant not having to concede one. It's always sad when you concede the first goal in the game through a penalty. And then that's just what happened. And Rodri slotted home. Luis should have done better. I think Luis had a bad game today, and he should have done better on that first penalty. But I mean, it went in, and from that point on, it was kind of like City's game to lose, really. And then it's just like do whatever you want now because you've got to come out, and then we've got that ability to kill you on the counter. So or even just in transition. So I think that kind of played into City's hands. So it was harsh for Spurs, but once that first goal went in, you kind of knew that Spurs were probably on the way to losing. It's just the way City play these days. You kind of know that if they go ahead, they're going to win because they don't concede goals that often. So it's very difficult to score. And then the second half came along, and it was just a blitz at that point. And the Gundogan form of his life. I think now he's in the form of his life. I was saying maybe he was better in 2013 when he had that run with Dortmund, taking them to the Champions League final. I think now, I think we can say he's in the form of his life. I think the number of goals that he scored, this has been a much longer period. If we can keep score 2 goals today, very well done. I think that second goal though, I mean, it's just bad defending, isn't it? And that's something that's going to worry Jose, and it's going to worry Spurs fans because they're not looking very good up front. And then when you start conceding goals at the back, then what are you really there? What are you really doing in the team if you're not able to score goals or be able to keep them out? So I thought there was comical defending from Davinson Sanchez, and then Luis again making a mess of things and letting the ball through. Again, should have done better, but he didn't. But Gundogan's 2 goals were class, and on cue he goes off injured. To scoring those 2 goals. Gundogan has that issue with injuries. I don't think it was anything too serious. I think he should be back soon enough. But I mean, that's something, isn't it? The fact that if he can maintain this form from now till the end of the season, I think City have a good chance for all 4 trophies. I really do. I think City have a good chance for all 4 trophies anyway. But I think if Gundogan's in this kind of form, in this kind of lethal form, I think they have a very, very good chance. And I think I know we always keep talking about City as Champions League contenders, and they always keep disappointing fans or disappointing neutrals, but I think this season is different. It just feels different. It just feels like there is something that City are doing, that's something special that's brewing, and I think they look a much better team than they did for the Centurion season, with the season after that. I think this team is much, much more balanced and much, much better. So we'll see what happens. But I think this might be City's best chance to get to win that Champions League, to even win the quadruple. And not just because they're so good, but because their competition around them doesn't look that good either. So, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But again, fantastic performance from City today. I think it's pretty obvious Gundogan was a man of the match. It's interesting as well that for the penalty, Edison wanted to take it, but he didn't get. But it was sent back by Bernardo Silva, who was like, "No, you're not taking it. It's going to be Rodri who takes it." I wonder what would have happened if Rodri had missed that penalty. What Edison's reaction would have been. But overall, I think it was a fantastic performance from City. Again, very routine. For all of Spurs' attacking endeavor, and they had quite a bit of it, City never looked at, and aside from that Bale chance right at the end, they never really looked like they were going to concede a goal. And that, I think, is going to be worrying Spurs. It's going to be worrying the rivals. If anybody has any hopes of beating them in the cups, whether that's Everton, whether that's Spurs who are going to come up again, maybe any of the European teams, that's what's going to be worrying. Is the fact that they just don't, even though they were not at their very best today, they still were like cruising through the game, and they didn't have Ruben Dias as well on the side, and they still managed to pick out a clean sheet and a win. That's going to be concerning when you've got a team that doesn't concede and scores a lot of goals. So I mean, I don't know where this is going, this season is going, but I think Spurs City fans can be really, really excited and be optimistic about what their team can achieve this season, because it looks like the sky is the limit. To be honest, we might very well see we saw the sextuple that Bayern completed this season. We might very well see the heptuple happening, by this time next year. We might very well be calling for a heptuple, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's just stunning performance. But I mean, as far as Spurs is concerned, I don't think they played badly today. I think this, again, it was a couple of errors, several lapses in concentration, the penalty, the third goal. I mean, it's just one of those things, right? I mean, these are individual errors that need to be cut out. Does Jose Mourinho have the stomach to cut them, to get them out of the player system? Can he pick the right players in the system to actually make that work? I just don't know. And I almost feel like today's game was a sort of reference to the fans. I think he was like going like, look, I tried to play attacking. I played a 4-4-1-1 today. I played an attacking game and we still lost. So, and we conceded 3 goals. So now when I say that I want to go back to a defensive team, this is why I want to go back to a defensive team. So because nobody really expected Spurs to win this game. So I think in that sense, he was probably putting that out as a message. You can't rule out Jose Mourinho doing that. But I mean, it's I think there's some positives there to take into the next few games. Are they still in the top 4 race at the moment? I think they are. I think they are, only because Liverpool's form is a bit stuttering. I think if you look at City now as pretty much guaranteed top 4 and pretty much guaranteed Premier League title, you've then probably got Manchester United, Chelsea, Spurs, Everton, and West Ham, and then you've also got Leicester obviously in there, and potentially I would say, yeah, I'm forgetting the 17, but the 7 teams. Um, there's one more team. I mean, you're looking at probably the rest of the Liverpool. That's right, Liverpool. I first forgot about Liverpool. But 7 teams. I think looking at those 7 teams as competing for the top 4. So I mean, you've got to look at, can Spurs overtake one of those other 3 teams? Can they overtake Chelsea? Can they overtake Liverpool? Can they overtake West Ham? Probably might be the easiest one at this point that they would probably overtake. But then can they get one over one of the others? I mean, it's going to be a lot. So I think Spurs are still in it, just about, only because of the Liverpool result today. The fact that they lost, they're still in it. But I mean, it's yeah, they've got to start picking up wins quickly. They want to make it there. So, but we'll see where that goes, because at the moment it's looking unlikely that they will make the top 4. But then 5 months ago we said Spurs might win the title this season, and then that changed. So things change very quickly in football in this season. But for now they are just about there. I think they are in the top 4 race, just about. But the next few games will tell us more about if they will remain in that race and for how long will they remain in that race. But that's something. But anyway, thank you so much for watching today. I think that's kind of that, we've got so much more things. I mean, I could just wax lyrical about the way I saw what City played today and the way that they've been playing so far this season, but we'll leave that for another day. Thank you so much for watching. It's finished. Manchester City 3, Tottenham 0. Another win for City. 11 on the bounce in the Premier League, 16 in a row in all competitions. Pretty much now guaranteed to win the title. In my opinion, at least, pretty much guaranteed. But I know there'll be some few optimistic fans out there, maybe thinking Leicester have a chance, maybe thinking if some other team can come in. But for me, I think City have pretty much now guaranteed themselves a Premier League title. But let me know in the comment section. Let me know, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think City are guaranteed to win the title now? Do you think there's still some competition there for City to overcome? What do you think? What do you think City will achieve this season? What do you think Spurs can do to rescue their season? Let me know in the comment sections. And please do remember to smash a like if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed City's win. And also do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Always love producing these videos, and your subscription helps support that, allows me to keep making new videos. So please do that and support the channel. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with match reactions for the other games, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.